Hello, chat. Hello. Can you hear me? Hi. Welcome, everybody, to round two of the Llobregat Open. Bucks, you still haven't told me if my pronunciation is correct. Hello, Disjin. Maybe, maybe not. Please tell me how to say it right then, guys. Or better yet, Bucks, maybe you can join me and demonstrate. Hi, Hero Parent. You should show up on one of the streams. It'd be really cool if you can. Hmm. The moves are not on the live board yet. Oh, El Llobregat. El Llobregat. El Llobregat. Okay, looks like a normal Slav defense. Will she go G6 or not? Oh, chat. That reminds me. Let's do this once again. She doesn't. She takes on C4 first. For people who want to predict channel points, the prediction is up now. All right, we have moves on the live board as well. Very nice. So after the move G3, she has taken on C4, and white is deciding what to do here. I am doing well, Hera Parent. Thanks for asking. My sleeping schedule has been all over the place. I have slept at every hour of the day. Deesjin, at this point, she is in contention for GM, IM, and WGM norms so far. But of course, a lot of results and pairings will have to go her way. This is only round 2 of 10. So we have a long way to go. Uh, yes, Rookie. Sleeping schedule all over the place. Water is wet. Trix is RNG. Chaos's luck is the best. What else is new? That is a very good question, Matthew. I was just thinking about it. Ideally, I would like at least 7 hours of sleep before waking up between 7 to 9 a.m. But okay, that's wishful thinking, but hypothetically, yes. David, I think I have completed that side quest, you know? If you treat it like a game, I have slept at every hour of the day and eaten at every hour of the day. Yes, these normal people is um, very far from what I am, sadly. I wish to be normal, but okay. Anyway, hi, yes, believers, where you at? Like, look at the rating. Yesterday she drew someone who was 23 something. There's someone a little higher rated, but also you should know that Anna-Maja has defeated an IM who's similarly rated to this guy a few days ago. You can check out her last YouTube video, which is a recap, which was an amazing game. So you should check that out. Go here. Flyo Fools, the position on the board is live. The position on the stream is live. Bucks, I tried that. Yeah, I mean, I remembered that. That's why I didn't type that link. um, hello, Sean. Welcome. I wish I could fall asleep at will, but okay. Um, this stream is not a discussion of my lifestyle habits. Let's go with the opening. Is this familiar to anyone? Yo, yo, guess who's back? Wow. Yo, yo, aren't you in Barcelona? This is very close to where I last knew you were. Oh, wait, I have to do this. Oh, okay. If you sent her something on Discord, she's probably not going to see it because as you can see her. But, alright. Let me know if my voice cuts out or something. Legion, that's a good question. I have been like this since mobile phones had internet. Oh yeah, Yo-Yo, welcome. Thanks, Yo-Yo. El Llobregat, is that correct? El Llobregat. Yes. Oh, GM Solver, welcome. My time is okay, don't worry, but you're close to my time, which is, I like it. Also, congrats on the win. Guys, I found it really cool that GM Solver is in the same open tournament as Anna-Maja, the other streamer. I wish GM Solver was streaming his games, to be honest. Hello, MVL. Al Llobregat. Al? Ooh, Al Llobregat. Damn. Okay, you learn something new every day. That almost sounds Arabic. Al Llobregat. Hair apparent. GM Solver is on, I think, 2.5 out of 3, if I'm not mistaken. He's playing in the same open as Hannah. Yes, exactly. I wish he would stream them, but it's okay. Let the man focus on the win. Uh-huh. You're right. Al Andalus. True, true. Prometheus, you are correct. Look at this. Oh, wait. This is what Anna does to her opponents. Guys, I will BRB. Need to tend to my food that was in the kitchen. Hello. No food and no sleep. Why? I want to eat. It is perfectly good dinner time now. So our opponent here today seems to be confused about something. Or maybe he's just lost in his lines. Let's take a look. He has played the move knight e5. Okay. We're still following theory here. After knight e5, as you can see on the stream, the top move still are bishop b4 check, or pushing c5, attacking d4, or holding on to the pawn with b5. So Anna can do any of these moves and she'll still be perfectly fine. Pushing b5 seems a little tricky because it looks like you can take on c6, but you can't because black can simply move the queen, or and you don't really have much because after that bishop b7 protects the diagonal. Right, 95 played and we wait. Hello, White Knight Gamer. I see you're back doing the job. Yes, Cruz, that's a good question. It's almost like people don't respect the game and they want to waste time. Yes, Duckfish, we're winning. We're up a pawn, so we're winning. So all of you can bet your channel points on win. Let's go. Nice. I see the believers are going very strong today. Love to see it. But clearly not enough points have been bet. Now that you know the postcard redeem is not an option anymore, and the next time she may turn it on will be at least a year later, or about a year later. Go crazy. You went all in for 100? 100.000. Hello, Hair Parent. Hair Parent, have you had a postcard redeem from Anna-Maja this time? Bucks, you can. It's okay. Oh, he did. That's amazing. Okay, I hope Anna knows that. She doesn't send it to Screws. um, Bucks, I feel like people have forgotten about it. Just do what you want with the points and bet them. It's okay. Also, Sean, that's a good question. A better question is, how willing are you to share your address with me? Or you can give me a public address. I can send you a postcard right now. As in, I can go not tomorrow, but Monday. Here, a parent note: uh, if she sends anything, it will take you. It will take about 3 weeks. I want to say 2.5, but 3 weeks to be sure. To for it to receive, for you to receive it. Yes, Bucks, I will send postcards to anyone, like free of cost, as long as you give me a sendable address. I don't mind. It's okay here, parent, don't worry. We have the first few redeems, including mine, that was about a year and a half ago, or almost 2 years ago. She scammed us last year, and that's why everyone thinks she's scamming us this year too. She said she would do it, but she hasn't sent them, and now she's in Spain. So yeah, the scam believers are right so far. Oh yeah, whoever's doing Advent of Chess, make sure you keep an eye on that. So what happens is, I think it's still Offerspiel, the club which Magnus was a part of. They release, I believe, a puzzle a day, all of Christmas, and the first ones who can solve it and put the solution appear on some leaderboard. And then our GM Solver is our resident expert on this. It's really cool. So yeah, and they're not like your normal puzzles that you can feed into an engine. Usually, they're really creative ones, but very nice. You should go check out Advent of Chess. This is not sponsored. Mm, B5 is still fine here. Nice one, Chris. If they ever sponsor, we should put that in the title. In this position, C5 is not a bad move either. After c5, white will most likely give a check and pick up the pawn. So, I believe she is down on the clock now after all this waiting. Ooh. Mark your calendars, everyone. Go watch the game of the World Championship on the next Sunday. That is so cool. No, Screws, it didn't. Um, Although the weekend is still not almost over, as it is for me. So, yeah. Maybe Chaos does something, comes up with something. I remember I played. Might also be the only time he's played it. I don't know. But yeah, it has happened once. And I don't know about Bucks. I don't think he was there. Sad. Who are you going there with, GM Silver? Oh, hi, Captain Ketchup. Nope, this is not as good as a Screw's commentary stream. I still wish he joins me now, though, but I doubt that will happen from past experience. Okay, Bucks, I do not remember it. Maybe I wasn't there. Mini Trigger. She drew versus an opponent rated about 200 points higher. So that was really cool. And now she's on to the next IM. Man looks like a villain, plotting his evil schemes. Oh, Bucks, yo, 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 yo. Sorry, I remember that one actually. I remember that one. That was the last time I have played Among Us. Uh, it was also a very long time after the hype died down. I remember. Yes, mini trigger, that was a very good result. And if she draws today, at least, it will also be an even better result. So we hope for a win, but we're very happy with the draw. I see the odds for draw today is very good. Just like yesterday, somebody won about 4,500 points just by betting 10. Sean, it's not about norm points. The norm will be calculated much later. But yes, if she does get a draw or a win versus him today, it's very good for her norm chances. Yes. Bucks, okay, I don't know about that. But it was not a cool kids server. Not really. Fun fact, the first thing Anna ever told me was something about the cool kids in the cool kids server being not cool. Or someone did something not cool there. I forget the reason, but yes. It still exists, I think. But yeah. Good times. Would not go back. Good. Uh, BRB. My kitchen is calling while Anna thinks about her move. Hello, I have just returned, and I see she has gone for b5 finally. Nice. So she's gonna hold on to that pawn, because why not? Haha. Gotcha, David. Famous last words. I am here with my food. What did she do?
Your band.
Well, hello there. Good evening. Oh, you're still eating. Okay. Yeah. So, guys, this is Vlad joining the stream. I guess I have some insights on the position on the board, although we have to say the board is glitching a bit. But Anna-Maja has just played this rather sharp move b5. The idea is that we don't want to give up c4 willingly, or at least not without making white really work for it. So here the main line continues knight takes c6, queen b6. And we want to play on the queen side, we want long term, we want to push the pawn majority there. But white also has the option to play a4 first. And that might be a stronger practical decision. Oh, blue, you think you're actually going to go to bed. Okay, in that case, I can hold the fort, I suppose. It's nice. It's a nice 5:45 p.m. here in Bucharest, Romania. I don't have any chess tournament to play today, only tomorrow. So yeah, I'm here. I'm here for the long haul. Hello, everybody in the chat. I haven't said hello to already. Thanks to Stockfish once more for gifting the sub. Very appreciated. And it's nice to see some chat regulars here, as well as some people who haven't been around for a while, but are slowly returning. And I mean people like Yo-Yo Cat. Yo-Yo Cat has been missing in action for a while, but now he's back on Twitch, I guess. I don't understand, GM Solver. What bigger chess event I'm going to? If you mean the Qatar Open, the Qatar Masters, I'm actually not going to travel there. So I will not be in the Qatar Masters after all. Oh, hello, Nordi. Nordi is here as well. Hello, hello, aloha. So I cannot really make out the clocks. I should probably put my glasses on and zoom in. And also hello to YouTube, if we are also streaming this on YouTube, hello. If I'm zooming in, I see 1:05, so 1 hour and 5 minutes for white, and then 1 hour and 13 minutes for black. Oh, wow, there's actually, I forgot there was a command on this channel with my name. That's who I am, however, I'm not an active streamer anymore. Nowadays, I identify as a chess coach and a chess journalist. Well, more of a freelance journalist and blogger rather than somebody who is actively employed by a news organization. But speaking of chess journalism, lots of them are actually on site in Singapore covering the Dingley Ren against Gukesh match. Some of them are asking very clever questions. Some of them are asking less clever questions. But it's all for the content, I suppose. Yeah, this thing is quite glitchy. I don't actually know, well, I actually don't have control over the live board that's being displayed. So I will ask for your patience and just watch the actual 3D board on the screen to see the exact position for now. I know it makes it a bit inconvenient, but that's the best we've got. Yeah, like, I don't know, is some human actively controlling the moves on the 2D board here, or are there greater mystical powers out there who are doing this job? Okay, so he's thinking between knight takes c6 and a4. He has never played this position. He has never played this position before. So it's entirely possible. Oh yeah, also guys, sorry for this shameless plug, but I am actually actively looking for students. So, you know, if you'd be interested in a collaboration, there's a command in the channel. Apparently Anna-Maja even endorses me. That's amazing. Thank you, Anna-Maja. What's the move order here? This started as a Slav defense. And it started as a Slav that turned into a semi-Slav structure, and finally black decided to take on c4. I guess you could call this some sort of a Catalan transposition. If you want, it's a rare variation of the open Catalan. Could be a thing. By the way, they are playing in a suburb of Barcelona, so it's only fitting they would be playing a Catalan opening today. But the main line does continue for a bit. So the main line continues knight takes c6, queen b6, and then knight to a5. And the point is, I guess you cannot easily take on a5, because after bishop to d2, your queen on a5 would be hanging, and your rook in the corner would also be hanging to the white bishop. So yeah, this is a bit complicated, and white is spending some time for a good reason here, especially if it's the first time seeing this position. If Bro knew, I don't think Bro knows mainline, because he played knight to e5 rather than short castles, which he has played before. So I suppose he doesn't actually know what the main moves are in the position, and he's just figuring it out on the fly. On the fly, you fools. But I do like seeing this b5 from black. I mean, this is a fighting move. b5 shows a willingness to fight and not to play for a drawish position, but rather for some queenside initiative. He is your brother. I see, I see. Thanks for the follow, Sanguico. Now, I hope that name is Italian, but correct me if I'm wrong. Hello to our Italian followers as well. Buonasera a tutti, signori e donne. Yeah, not so much happening, guys. I mean, as long as we don't have any moves on the board, I'm afraid my entertainment ability is rather low. Pretty much the only chess stuff that's happening nowadays is the World Championship match, then the Singapore Open, and then this Llobregat Open as well. Can we assume the longer he waits, the more likely we see a4? Yes. Yes. I think that is, you see, that is the type of high quality question that I like to see in the chat. So, okay, he actually takes on c6 after quite a long thing. But yeah, I think a4 was also a worthy alternative. So now queen to b6 is supposed to be the only move. If I look, I can actually look at the database on the side, and I am using not the Lee Chess Master database here or some other website, but rather I'm in ChessBase. So I am looking in ChessBase, where after knight takes c6, 9 players decided to actually take on c6 and sacrifice the exchange in the corner. That's surprising. One person rated... well, unrated. One unrated person decided to play queen c7, and the vast majority of games have continued queen b6. 45 out of 55 games have continued with queen to b6. So that is the move we are also expecting here. Waterfall, you feel like high quality questions come with a question mark. Well, if the question mark is implied, then I think we can all agree. We can all agree that is a question. I mean, some players are willing to sacrifice the rook in the corner and just go for an early h5, h4, and keep the king in the center. I don't think, objectively speaking, I don't think black has enough compensation if they take on c6 here. But for a faster time control, it might be worth attempting. Okay, she's reaching for the queen, and queen to b6 has been played, fellows. Welcome to the chat, Matthew. So Matthew's here with us. Hope you're doing well, brother. Here there are multiple choices. It's like a test. A knight to a5, that is Andrew 5, is the main move in the position. Knight takes b8 is followed by rook takes b8, so that we don't lose material on the diagonal. And then the move knight back to e5 is met with bishop to b7, which pretty much solves all of black's opening problems, rather. So I expect white to find knight to a5 here, although again it's a complicated and quite tactical move. So knight a5, again, you can take that, you could, but it's not supposed to be great. It's really not supposed to be great, because there follows bishop to d2. And, well, you're kind of all in at that point. And the rook in the corner is going to be attacked, and the queen on a5 is going to be attacked as well. So black is losing material. So after knight a5, the correct move is knight to d5, the only move to block the diagonal. Yes, Matthew, you are absolutely correct. So knight a5, knight d5, bishop to d2 is the main continuation that we are expecting. And the position does take on a fairly concrete character afterwards, although it seems to quiet down. Like, after white castles and black eventually develops the dark squared bishop and castles herself, the position becomes a bit more calm. Black has the option to start advancing queenside pawns. White should try to play in the center and try to smash through the black defenses. But for now, the position remains reasonably sharp. So we'll follow the next few moves with great interest. If he has never seen this position before, I guess knight a5 is not immediately obvious. Like, putting the knight on an unprotected square where it hangs with check is not always the first thing you consider. Well, I guess after a certain rating. But yeah, he's definitely unsure about this position just from the body language alone. He's pondering and thinking. He does find knight to a5, however. And here Anna-Maja has to find knight d5. Knight d5 is absolutely necessary. We are in only move territory, but I guess it's obvious enough. Exactly, rating must be sufficiently low or high to consider knight a5. At low ratings, you may not notice that a knight on a5 is hanging. In the middle range, you may be way too dogmatic to consider putting a knight on an unprotected square like that. And at higher levels, you understand that knight a5 is simply a very good move. So Matthew, what is this special badge that you have? I see it next to your tulip. I see you have predicted that Anna-Maja wins. It's a bold prediction, but I hope it works out for you. You have this red tulip, the 3-year badge. And then I see you have this Arcane Season 2 premiere. What the hell is that? Tell me more. I want to know everything about it. Okay, she's thinking, guys. She's thinking. But again, knight to d5 is the only move here for black that has been played in master level games. Arcane is a series from League of Legends. Okay, you kind of lost me. We have a shout out to Kay at Day. Hello so much to Kay, and thanks so much for the raid with 40 viewers. As you can tell, I'm not Anna-Maja. She's currently playing a game in Spain. But I still appreciate your raid, and thanks for dropping by. How was your stream? How can we be sure you're not Anna-Maja? I will refrain from answering that. So let's just gleefully move on past that question. Not all questions deserve an answer on this channel. Oh God, Matthew, stop it. You're gonna make me blush. Don't air the dirty laundry out in the public, man. Prometheus and you both suggested to raid here. Thank you, Prometheus and Suregrass. My friend Suregrass, always a great supporter of this channel. And yeah, I guess Suregrass, how do you evaluate the current position? How do you like Black's prospects here? Of course, the position is somewhat theoretical still after knight d5. I see that Blue Boy has actually also left the voice call, so you're stuck with me now. We're alone here. So let's see, how does the main line go? So knight to d5 blocks the diagonal and reintroduces the threat of capturing on a5. So white has to play either bishop to d2 or pawn to e4. Presumably bishop to d2 is a normal move. Then black could play queen takes d4, but maybe that's a bit too greedy. Maybe taking that pawn on d4 is a bit too much. So let's just say knight d5, bishop d2, knight c6. And here white would have to capture on c6. Then they castle. And eventually we're also going to develop our bishops and castle short. So interesting position ahead of us. Since this is a rather theoretical position still, you could say that it's pretty much equal. Maybe white has a very small edge. That's what I want to say, just a very small edge. But overall, I think the position remains pretty balanced. I don't think there will be an exchange sack in this line. No, queen takes a5 is not the best move here for black folks. That would actually drop material. You'd probably play c4, c6 and claim an advantage with black. That's funny. I'm assuming that is from the first move then? Or am I misunderstanding this? Because c4, c6 is a very, very good thing. Hello, Andrea Firenze, hello. And Springer Archie, do I think he knows the theory or figured it out? I think he's slightly confused about the move order, and he has figured knight a5 at the board. Wait, hold up. What's the question here? So bishop to b4, bishop to b4, bishop d2, bishop takes a5, bishop takes a8. Black loses material, and the position looks rather bad for black. I don't think black can claim any compensation. Queen takes a5, also bishop takes a8. So in all these variations, black is losing the rook in the corner. This is the reason why we want to play knight to d5 here, to block this diagonal. I think she will play it. I think it's pretty much forced as far as, if you don't want to lose material on the diagonal, then knight to d5 is forced. And play becomes predictable enough after knight d5, bishop d2, to where both sides can comfortably castle their king and play the middle game with confidence. So I have faith. I have faith that she's going to play knight to d5 here. If she goes for something wilder, then it might be a bit over-ambitious. It might backfire. So, fingers crossed that knight d5 actually gets played in this position. Bishop to b4, notably, is already considered inaccurate by the computer. So bishop to b4, bishop to d2 is already, I guess the computer is thinking that white will have the upper hand. Are they both out of theory now? Yeah, I would imagine. I would imagine he's not just slow playing his hand. He's already burned like 28 minutes off his clock. No way he's slow playing that slowly. Like, normally when you try to give the impression that you are not in theory, but are still in theory, you might want to make slightly slower and very deliberate moves, but you're not going to burn 28 minutes off your clock to make the bluff work. So yeah, you could say that both of them have been out of theory for a couple of moves, at least. But I really like the fighting choice that Anna-Maja has chosen in this game. I mean, this b5 concept, this c6, d takes c4, b5, I love this approach from her. Very materialistic, trying to play for an actual pawn structure imbalance. Really lovely approach to the game. Not afraid for a tactical fight with her much higher rated opponent. And I might be biased. I might be biased here because this is a variation that also exists in my repertoire. Oh, hello, Diana. Thanks for the raid with 292 viewers. Welcome, raiders. Hope you had a great stream. I saw that you are going to be commentating the Sligo tournament. You're going to be one of the official commentators there at the end of January. So hopefully that's going to go well. And thanks again for the raid. Both players on equal time now. Yes, we are following Anna-Maja. Hello, Yo-Yo. We are following Anna-Maja's round 2 game from the El Llobregat Open in Spain. Very strong open tournament, one of the strongest European tournaments in existence. The average rating is ridiculously high, something like 2288 if I'm not mistaken. Like last time I checked, I don't want to say something wrong, but last time I checked, if we go on chess results under Spain, where is it? I think I found it. Yes, the average rating is 2286, and there are no fewer than 111 players. So it's a reasonable sized tournament, and the average rating is that high. So it's a really good event. Mr. Lamprokles, hello, Mr. Lamprokles. We have played over the board, if I'm not mistaken. I saw that you also played in the Amateur Championship under 2000 in Greece this year and did quite well, so congratulations. Oh, Aware Eagle, wow, there are so many OGs here in the chat. I don't even know if I have enough energy to to greet everybody who's joining, all the OGs. Yes, we played in Malta. And I played this Czech Benoni, and I pushed both f5 and b5. Akjet, I would expect that you know how to spell your own country's name, mate. Anna has played the move knight to d5 in the meantime, and white has gone bishop to d2. Yeah, so this is, of course, still a quite theoretical position. Her opponent is looking rather unamused or even bored a bit. So maybe he's figured out that this position is actually totally fine. Yeah, a bishop to d2 has been played already. Bishop to d2 is on the board. And now we expect knight to c6. Yeah, this is definitely an opening that I know some theory in. In particular, this structure is one of my favorite to play from the black side. Also, Kukas, you can join me on stream if you want to discuss. I'm happy to discuss with you. So, And I'm sure our viewers are more accustomed to Akjet's voice than mine, and maybe that would increase the entertainment value as well. Yeah, B5 was very good. B5 was a very good move. Well, I guess lots of... Yeah, so I got a new mic. So Lamprocles actually got a new microphone, so my voice probably sounds different compared to, let's say, old streams back when I was streaming. Yeah, so maybe that's the reason. Also, I think my voice is a bit raspy today, so... There in Romania in late November. Wait, guys, the new FIDE rating lists should be up very shortly. They might even be up now. So if you have played tournaments in November and you expect them to go on the December FIDE list, you might take a short run to the FIDE ratings website and check your new rating. And let me know in the chat if you're happy with the change. So, if you gained rating in November, please boast in the chat. You're welcome to do so. If you lost some rating in November and you don't want to talk about it, that's totally fine. But I'm actually going to do this right now and check my own profile. Yay, I gained 32 points and it's already up to date. Wow. So despite the fact it's not December yet, it looks like the December ratings are already up on the website. Helmut Loos. Helmut Loos. Wait, who is Helmut Loos? Is that somebody we know? Anna will be above 2200. Is she going to be above 2200? Let's check. Anna-Maja. FIDE website. She is at 2206. So she gained some rating on this last update. She gained no fewer than 28 points. Yeah, so Anna-Maja did plus 28. Congratulations. Who else from this community has played tournaments? Let's see. Mr. Anastasios Koukas has not been in action. He remains at 2019. Oh, wow. So this command pulls live data from the FIDE server. This is very nice. I guess it was Screws who coded this little command here. It's very nice that it pulls up-to-date numbers. No need to go to website when we can just spam commands. Yeah, I guess you're right. Aware Eagle, congratulations on your plus 35 gain in table tennis. That's an I'm not sure. I actually guess plus 35 is quite good also in table tennis. Thank you, guys. Gaining 32 points in 1 month has been unexpected because for a while I was not really playing that much chess. I wasn't really keen on playing. But this plus 32 kind of pushes me in the direction of playing some more events again. So hopefully tomorrow I have a rapid tournament, just 7 rounds, 10 minutes plus 5-second increment. So fairly fast rapid event. It's played here in Bucharest, not too far from where I live. And when I checked the list earlier, there were 148 people signed up. And I was starting as the 40 seed. So number 40 out of 148. So that promises a pretty tough second round pairing. Probably among the top 4 or 5 boards in round 2. So yeah, that's going to be interesting. I expect to have a slightly easier game in the first round, then to have a very difficult game in the second round. And it's reasonable to expect that you score 1 out of 2 there, and the tournament really starts from the 3rd round onwards. Or at least, that's how I try to frame it in my head. So yeah, will be interesting for sure. How about you guys in the chat? Do you have any future OTB events that you're planning to take part in? Anything, let's say anything before New Year's. So if it's in December, you can let me know about it. If it's something planned from January and onwards, please feel free to tell me everything about it too. On my side, I'm planning to play at the end of December a very quick tournament in Hungary. It's a 3-day classical event, but that's pretty much it, because of course for the holidays I also want to spend some time with my family and friends. So wouldn't really consider a Were Eagle. That was 5.5 out of 6. As a journalist, I'm just kidding, man. I'm just kidding. Yeah, I had 5 out of 5 actually, and then scored a draw in the last round. So finished with 5.5 out of 6. Kacper Piorun and Agata. Who is Agata? Good night, Mr. Stolver. And use all the Riz. Wait. Silver Surfer. I'm playing a tournament during the exact same interval from the 27th to the 30th. Yeah, you only see 5 games on my FIDE profile. That's because I beat an unrated person in the second round. Everything has an explanation. But this... yeah. Okay, so Silver Surfer, you're playing in Germany, I'm playing in Hungary. The fact that the dates match was funny. Oh my goodness, she takes on d4. She captures that pawn on d4. Wow, that is... I think that might be a bit too risky. I guess that pawn grab is not so much to my taste, I'll be honest. I'll be honest and say that I think this is a bit too aggressive. So if I look in the database, queen takes d4 has been played 3 times. And these players' ratings were 2345, 2334, and 1941. The bad news is that white has scored 100% from this position, despite being lower rated in 2 out of 3 games. So pawn grabbing in this particular position may be a bit too risky. And here pretty much everybody has opted with white for the move knight to c3. Just very standard development and possibly introducing some threats. I'm actually going to fire up an engine here. I want to see exactly how inaccurate this queen takes d4 is. So I'm going to be using an engine very briefly here, just as a disclaimer. The engine thinks queen takes d4 is a losing move. So the engine actually believes taking that pawn on d4 gives white too much initiative and is practically losing. That is quite surprising, not going to lie. That is surprising. And when I look at the cloud engines at a higher depth, some engines claim it's just much better for white, but some engines claim it's actually winning for white. So they agree on the main line. They agree the main line should continue knight c3, pawn to a6, short castles. But they don't really agree on the evaluation. So something like Fritz19 believes it's winning, plus 1.6. Some newer engines believe it's only plus 0.8. So, and my Berserk 13, my main engine, my default engine of choice, thinks this is closer to plus 2. And this is a very human engine. It's an engine that spits out reasonably human evaluations, closer to what a human would feel in the game. So when Berserk says plus 2, I'm generally not so thrilled about the prospects of playing against this. So maybe this queen takes d4, maybe my gut feeling was right, and pawn grabbing is a bit too risky. Let's see. Knight c3 was played as expected, of course, what else? Putting pressure on the pinned knight, developing a piece. Very logical. Also b5 is now under attack. So black has to commit to this full plan of going a6 and falling behind in development significantly. This is why I don't like the position so much now. Because of this falling behind in development. Clearly, Anna didn't think it was +2. Yeah, I think she underestimated the development advantage of white in this position. And this queen is pretty much fighting alone against the entire white army. Just let's evaluate. After knight c3, white has developed all 4 minor pieces and is going to castle on the next move. Also, knight c3 comes with tempo, so we have to do something. If we lose the b5 pawn for nothing, then we have played this entire setup in vain. So after knight c3, we have to spend 1 more tempo, not making a development move. Bishop b4 after knight c3 has to lose. That just has to lose somehow. Maybe it loses immediately after knight takes d5. So knight c3, bishop b4, knight takes d5, bishop takes d2, queen takes d2, king takes d2, he takes d5, bishop takes d5, and you lose the rook in the corner. Yeah, so this is... No, I actually think it's easier. I think it's easier to take on d5 rather than b5 there. I'm pretty certain it's easier if you just take on d5 in that position, but I stopped my engine, so I guess once I stopped it, I'm not going to enable it back. Yeah, sadly, Black's lack of development is starting to play a role here. Let's see what Anna-Maja decides to do. You forgot b5 was hanging and you forgot your knight's pinned. It's okay. The position is difficult to play. But yeah, a6 should probably be played here by Black. And then we pray. Then we pray that we get enough time to develop at least a dark squared bishop and castle. Our light squared bishop on c8 is a pretty sad piece, but I would say Anna-Maja is actually used to playing with that piece. So that's not even a concern here. Yeah, I mean, white's setup is very harmonious. They have great piece development. They don't really have to do much to enjoy a plus in this position. I think, judging by Anna-Maja's face, she doesn't really feel thrilled with capturing the pawn on d4 any longer. Yeah, so it would have been safer not to take on d4 and develop a piece with knight c6 earlier. Yeah, this queen takes d4 was very committal, but hey, the game's not over. There's still lots of chess to be played here. Let's say a6, short castles, and we still fight. Some other moves have been tried by other players, but they might be inferior. So bishop d7 has been attempted, but bishop d7 does have a slight flaw that it doesn't really fight for the long diagonal at all. But maybe bishop to d7 has some sort of merit as well. Bishop c5, bishop takes d5, queen f2. Somebody's been watching way too many PogChamp competitions. That would be a throbbing mate. That would be a real throbbing mate. Queen takes f2. I see some famous lurkers in the chat as well. Not gonna call anybody out, but seeing some usernames here that I have not seen in a while. Looks like some people have stuck after the raid. That's always nice to see. Retaining viewers after a raid is notoriously difficult to achieve on Twitch. Mostly because attention spans are short and people might prefer other channels as well. Vlad doxing? No, I'm not doxing anybody. It's all, it's public, right? You can actually see who is in the chat at all times. Even if they're not actively typing, I mean. Yeah, it will be interesting to see what Anna-Maja picks here to play. Are attention spans actually shortening? Yes, I believe there is recent research that shows that humans' attention spans are diminishing as a result of social media being so prevalent in our lives. Time management is a little monka. Hello, Joel. Hello. Well documented on this channel. I mean, what are you saying, Vlad? I got distracted. Nicely done. Well played. Yeah, Anna's time management is streamer time management. I mean, there's really no point in discussing much about it. Time management is what the time management is. How much time does she have left? I can't even see that far. Is it 40? Is it 47 minutes? Am I reading this correctly? She's at 47 and the opponent is at 1 hour exactly. Wait, is the opponent actually at 1:00:00? There's a bit of glare. There's a bit of screen glare there. And, well, not screen glare. I mean, rather the lights reflecting in the DGT clock. So I cannot really make it out exactly. But I guess it says 1:00:00 for the opponent. And something like 47 minutes for Anna-Maja. Yeah, so Joel, you were commentating on Rachel's game. I have to confess I'm not familiar with her channel or her game. And I suppose that her FIDE rating is high compared to the opponents that she's, so especially somebody from the United States who's going to Singapore to play classical chess. What I'm trying to say is that there's a big risk. There is a big risk that the rating is going to go down after such an experience. It's been well documented that Asian countries have deflated ratings. So I wish Rachel the best of luck in the Singapore Open. But it's a tough tournament. It's a tough event to gain rating in. But that may not be her goal in chess. So it's entirely possible that she's just there to enjoy the trip and not care about rating, which generally seems to be a very healthy approach. It's easy to say that, but it's very hard to apply it in practice. Like, it's very easy to say, oh, I'm just playing chess for fun. I don't care about ratings. But there's something deep inside of us that really hurts. Like, actually losing rating points can really hurt and feel depressing at times. Let's call it the way it is. And we have some other streamers as well, friends of this channel. I think Katharina Reinecke and Hannah Sace are both in Singapore playing this tournament. I think Katharina is also doing some sort of media work as well. I saw that she has an accreditation badge for the World Championship match. So it's nice that she can combine her professional assignment with her hobby. It's really, really wonderful. I'm assuming not too many people can be an accredited journalist or photographer at a world championship and also find the time to spend playing classical chess. Like, that's really, to me, that's really impressive. Very, very impressive. Certainly, I would not be able to do it. So thinking about all the work that I was doing at the Budapest Olympiad as a journalist and how many hours that required of my time, I would not have any energy to play a classical side event. So even more props to Katharina for being able to do so. So looks like Rachel has drawn a 1400, beaten another 1400, and lost a 1500. Yeah, these Singapore ratings are very deflated. There's no doubt about it. She'll have twice as much work to do. I'm not sure about that. I don't know. I know she works with the German Chess Federation. I'm not sure if she collaborates with any other outlet, but yeah, I guess she's quite busy with her assignment there. We met Katharina in Arad Open. So in Arad Open 2023, she was also playing there. And if my memory serves right, we had a nice lunch at the end of the tournament, or towards the end of the tournament. We had a nice lunch with Anna-Maja, with Akjet, with her, and with some other German players. Then again, my memory can be a bit shoddy nowadays, so I'm willing to be corrected by Akjet, who was also there. Generally, these are very nice moments when you just meet some new people at chess tournaments and you decide to just, have a drink or have a meal together and just talk about everything. I might say that at times these moments feel even more fun than actually playing chess. Like I'm not gonna lie to you. When you have a bad event and you're losing rating points, it feels like these moments are way nicer than actually sitting at the board and playing. When you're having a good event and you're scoring some nice points and wins, yeah, okay, playing chess can also be rewarding. That's true. But during the bad events, give me a beer and a meal anytime. Don't force me to play against these youngsters who see all the tactics. So let's do a little streamer checkup. So we looked at Rachel, who is next on the list. I guess we can look at Miss Reinecke from Germany. She's currently on. Sadly, she's only scored a draw from 3 games so far. Losing to a Chinese 1800, a Singapore 1800, and drawing an Australian 1800. And these are quite strong 1800s. Their ages were 12, then 16, and finally, well, quite old. So I suppose the 12-year-old and the 16-year-olds were the underrated ones, and the older person was not as underrated. Wait, that Australian is the father of... Oh, the father of Sophie Davis. Oh, I didn't know that was the father of Sophie. That's cool. So little streamer connection there as well. And then from Australia, we have Hannah, who is playing in the A tournament. Hold up, I'm gonna have to take a look here to find her. Wait, where is Hannah? Is Hannah playing in the A tournament or in the B tournament? Okay, I found her. So Hannah is actually doing very well so far. Made a draw against a fellow 1900 Australian, beat a German 1900, and then lost to a WGM from India. So actually so far performing above expectations and gaining some rating points. So yeah, Hannah is gaining 14-15 points so far. Rachel is losing, I forget, like 30 points or so. And Katharina is also losing something like 31 points. So we wish all these streamers best of luck for the upcoming rounds. They still have 6 games to play each. Not to mention the other streamer who was here in the chat earlier, but this one, of course, is very famous for his puzzle-solving abilities. 2580 rated Mr. GM Solver Bjorn Kacper from Poland. He is currently on 2.5 out of 3 and facing former world junior champion Ilan Party from India. So Ilan Party became world champion under 16 back in 2022. A very strong player, calculates like a machine. But hopefully GM Solver is going to trick his young opponent into some tactical blunders. In any case, all of these tournaments are very strong. Group A in the Singapore Open is incredibly strong. The tournament we're also following, Anna-Maja, the Llobregat Open, is incredibly strong as well. Without any additional training, what do I think Hannah's rating should be? 1950. I think her rating should be 1950 or thereabouts. But again, she plays in a very deflated pool. So her being 1800 something playing in Australia is already an achievement, if you ask me. I'm going to check what the universal rating system has Hannah at. Because she's 1821 in FIDE, but I'm assuming she's going to be quite a bit higher in URS. So she's 1821 in FIDE and 1891 in URS. Yeah, I'm willing to give Hannah a few extra points on top of that. So I would say 1950 from seeing her games. And again, a disclaimer, Hannah is not my student, so I don't have any sort of obligation to watch her games too closely, but I'm rooting for her. I'm rooting for her, and I find her playing style to be refreshing and aggressive, so that's always nice to see. And I do believe she's underrated, from what I've seen. Is Hannah a top 5 female player in Australia? Not yet. Not yet. I think she will eventually be, but for now there are several titled female players. Okay, Anna-Maja is sinking deep into thought here, and we have been yapping, or I should say I have been yapping nonstop for quite some time. Her clock is now reading 37, is that right? I think the white knight on a5 is obstructing the clock a tiny bit, but that's looking like a 37. Yeah, Hannah is one of the more inspiring adult improvers. So like when you think about all of the Twitch streamers who have burst onto the scene in the last, let's say, 3 years or so, Hannah has definitely shown great improvement in her understanding of chess. So let's say if you go on YouTube and you look at her older videos, maybe one of her first lessons that was recorded with Andras Toth or somebody else, I don't know who else she was taking lessons from, but if you look at one of her first recorded lessons on YouTube and compare to her current streams and understanding of chess, you will be able to tell that there's been a great improvement in her level. So yeah, there's no doubt. There's no doubt in my mind that if she continues to work on chess, she will be able to achieve most of her goals. Let's put it that way. Because chess remains a very hard discipline. Even for the most talented players and hardworking players out there, it remains incredibly difficult to achieve one's goals in chess. It's a very mentally and physically draining profession to actually play chess. So, you need to have physical endurance, you need to have a good training regimen, you need to have mental fortitude to help you through the dark times when you're tilted and you don't want to play because you've just blundered the winning position in one move. There are many moments that can be very testing in the world of chess. And this time management here, guys, I mean, I've been yapping nonstop for like 12 minutes and we didn't even talk about the position on the board. So the last assessment was Black is heavily underdeveloped and doesn't really have any good moves to make other than protecting the b5 pawn. So other than a6 or bishop to d7, nothing seems playable. Meanwhile, White has super normal moves. White can pretty much autopilot stuff like short castles, a4. I'm pretty sure that autopiloting short castles in a4 has to be good for White. But what do I think Anna's thought process was in snatching the d-pawn before developing? Clearly she did not miscalculate anything. Clearly she understood that taking the pawn on d4 meant that White can just develop with knight c3. So this must be a problem in her evaluation of the resulting position. So I guess she was trying to convince herself that taking on d4 was fine and that there were no problems. It's just a free pawn. Or rather, it makes sense to take the pawn because white's compensation would not be enough. But if you look at her time management in this very moment, ostensibly you can draw the conclusion that she's not happy with the position. So I cannot enter her mind, of course. I cannot tell you exactly what she was thinking, but I would attribute this move. The root cause of making this error is because of an evaluation mistake. I mean, there was not really much to calculate beyond that. The fact you take the pawn on d4, white plays knight to c3. This is straightforward enough calculation. So maybe, I don't know what she missed. It will be interesting to hear her thoughts as well. I don't want to speak on her behalf without really knowing what goes on in her brain. Yeah, basically, I think to answer the question more pinpointed, I would say queen takes d4 was an evaluation error. She has a what have I done posture. Okay, guys, I'm sure some of you are very keen to capture these funny moments with screenshots. As we can see in the Discord server, there are always funny poses of Anna-Maja at the chessboard. So feel free to drop them in the respective tournament thread if you have them. You're always too afraid to take the pawn on c4 if you're not well prepared enough. Okay. Now we need to shift. This is why you score so low on the risk-taking measure of chess base 18. Like, just take the pawn on c4 and hold on to it if you can. I mean, really, that's my mindset. Recently, I've started playing some different openings against d4. Usually I used to play the Slav defense or the semi-Slav or even some Grunfeld hybrids. But recently I decided to give the Queen's Gambit a try. The declined and the accepted. And in the accepted, by the way, she played a6. In the accepted, the lines tend to be really fun. a6 on the board, fellas. This move has been played only once in my database, in my mega database, 2025. And in that game, the 2000 white opponent managed to beat the 1900 black opponent. The game saw the continuation, short castles by white, bishop to e7 by black, bishop to f4, rook f takes d1, knight d7, knight takes knight, pawn takes knight, bishop takes pawn, knight b6, and, well, it was pretty much curtains after a few more moves. Bishop c6 check, in particular, was devastating there. So let's hope that Anna-Maja has something better in store than Mr. Sven Steenstrup, who played this previously. QGA is torture. I'm very, very well prepped in the QGA with black. It's probably my favorite opening to play with the black side nowadays. And it doesn't actually require that much prep, but it's nice to have it. Not sure we get extra time here, Mr. Fly You Fools. Let's check. We are under Spain on chess results. There are 15 minutes added on move 40, you're correct. So yeah, the QGA is not for everybody, it's not for the faint-hearted, but as a practical weapon, it's really, really powerful. Because, you know, everybody heads in thinking they'll play a boring Carlsbad or a Catalan, and then you just hit them with d takes c4, and it's like, yeah, we're playing chess now. Let's see what you've got. I love the Queen's Gambit accepted, and I recommend it to anybody who is looking for a fun and sharp weapon against the QGD, or rather against the D4 C4 setup. So if you are not happy with the QGD, or you're not happy with the Slav defense or with the Indian defenses, then you should give the Queen's Gambit Accepted a try. Lots of stuff to be uncovered there still. Banana. Who said banana? Where? Oh, is that? I did not see a banana. Did I miss a banana on the stream? Oh, you're an old friend of Mr. Max Dlugi. Okay, and he used to torture me. Time to go study the QGA. Well, I don't think you're going to face the QGA too much if you're playing from the white side, but with black, it's a very, very viable weapon nowadays. It has been rehabilitated in many lines. You can even take a look at this Arjun Erigaisi against Aravind Chittambaram game from the recently concluded Chennai Grandmasters. There are some other games as well, like Lanier Dominguez against Levon Aronian from the FIDE Grand Prix 2022. Lots of interesting ideas in this opening. Yeah, I think white will just castle here and enjoy a very comfortable edge. I mean, realistically, are there any other moves here for white to consider? Maybe a4 could be a move, but why not castle? I mean, clearly you're going to have to castle at some point. Well, actually, a4 turns out to be a reasonable like maybe not inaccuracy, but yeah, maybe a4 is not the best. Although I have fired up the machine once again. I have fired up the machine, and the machine seems to believe that a4 and castles are reasonably equivalent. In fact, a4 is currently preferred. So I don't really know what to believe. Hello, Chaos. Mr. Chaos, hello. My hand and brain partner is here. Best player of the Birds defense. Birds opening. Best player of the Birds opening in all of Leeds. All of Leeds is fearful of Chaos. Isabel is waifu. Hello. Hello, Isabel. I don't remember this username, but it's definitely a funny one. Or maybe you had a different username before. Yeah, that's a great title. Being the best Birds opening player in all of Leeds is really something to be grateful of and proud of. Disclaimer, I don't think Chaos actually lives in Leeds. That would make the jokes even funnier. Oh, and he got a gift sub. Very nice. Very, very nice gift sub there. So, yeah, I guess a4, the more I'm letting the engine kind of crank it up here, just for fun. Yeah. This is looking bad for black, folks. Looking pretty darn indicting on black's position. So, I don't know which engines you guys like to use. I don't know what Stockfish has to say about this position. But the more I let Berserk 13 run here on my machine, the more it spits out a4 as being plus 2.5, which is ridiculous. Birds opening means something different than Leeds. That's funny, man. That's pretty darn funny. Okay, guys, I want to pop out the chat window here because I cannot. Problem is I have to scroll really weirdly to see all your messages. I don't want to do that, so let me just pop it out as a separate window. You'd be happier if your 8th rank had more than 2 empty slots. Okay, that is first time I hear that phrasing. It's funny as hell for some reason. Like, I never thought about the 8th rank and how many empty slots it has. It's the first time I'm actually actively visualizing this. I'm sure I've thought it before, but never phrased it that way. Okay, okay, fly you fools. So short castles we have on the board now. Mr. Zemach Nadav is playing short castles, and white is enjoying a comfortable edge due to his superior development. And now the question is, what moves can we even play with black? So after short castling, okay, I'm gonna let you guys guess the best move in the position after short castles, and that, if you guess it, that should tell you everything about how hard this position is to play for black. So, white castled short. What is the best move for black to play in this position? And I will basically know who is cheating. Because the move is so strange. No, f5 is not it. h5 is not it. Okay. First person to recommend the best move in the position will be exposed as an engine user. Yes, rook a7. Rook a7. I mean, come on. You haven't developed any of your minor pieces. And the best move is to put the rook on a7. What is going on? Yeah, it's pretty much unfindable. If you've never played the Queen's Gambit Accepted and you don't know the maneuver rook a7, rook to d7, this move is unfindable over the board. I mean, I only know this move. I know about this idea because of a specific variation in the Queen's Gambit Accepted. Very specific variation. And it's the variation with e4, b5, a4, c6, ab5, cb5, knight c3, queen b6, bishop e3. That is the line from the Queen's Gambit Accepted, where this idea of rook a7 comes into play. And yes, I did just recite that from memory. So it's in the e4 b5 complex of the QGA. And the idea is to stay out of the pin. The idea is to stay out of the pin mostly on the a file, because knight takes b5, a b5, rook takes a8 can be an issue in some lines. So when in that line, when the queen is usually on b6, you play rook a7 to put the rook on a protected square. QGA is torment. It could be a torment for both sides. Like, when I play it with black, it's a torment for white. Yeah, I mean, I don't think rook a7 is the first move to cross your mind in this position. And if it is, props to you. You're a very strong player. Especially if you've never seen the idea before, it becomes even harder to make sense of this move. But allow me to indulge in the not so bold prediction that rook a7 will not be played here. Nicker MSA. Keep going. Are you almost there? Why are you telling me to keep going? I mean, sure, I can keep going. It's not like I'm gonna stop yapping, but in what context? In what context does this message come? What else is going on in the beautiful world of chess today? Let's do the rounds. Let's see what other games or tournaments might be ongoing. So it's late in Singapore, everybody's sleeping there. The German Schach Bundesliga is currently ongoing, and we have lots and lots of fun action there too. Lots of strong players in action. Then what else? the Italian Championship, the London Chess Classic. Oh my goodness. Of course, Malcolm Payne is a great friend of Anna-Maja's channel with collaborations in the past. And I suppose that he's one of the tournament directors, if not the tournament director, at the London Chess Classic. So we have Ju and Jun, the reigning women's world champion, playing against Mickey Adams. We have recent Grandmaster Shreyas Royal against Gawain Jones. And then we have Vidit against Andrew Hong from the US. And finally, Nikita Vityugov against Shakh Mamedyarov. Great series of games here. This is round 2 of the London Chess Classic. So that is a good event to keep an eye out on. What else do we have? We have the Grand Hotel Bali. This is a great tournament in Benidorm, Spain. I'm really not certain why Grand Hotel Bali and El Llobregat Open are actually overlapping. That seems like an oversight on the organizer's part. Although it is true, the target audience is a bit different. The Llobregat Open addresses to stronger professional players, and the Grand Hotel Bali might be, let's say, better suited for players on a budget who are not necessarily like chess professionals. Let's put it that way. So the Grand Hotel Bali is a tournament I played in last year. I played in the B section. I cannot really recommend it. It felt very crowded. So, it's a good tournament, lots of players, but also felt very crowded in the playing hall. So, although I like the organizer and I'm friends with her, I think she has better events that she organizes than that. That's just very honest feedback. Creator Cup semifinals tonight too. Is that an online event? I'm not so familiar with the online events. My mistakes, guys. My mistake. So I'm mostly looking at OTB events, so I may not be too familiar with online events. Okay, so I see lots of things are ongoing, in fact. There's a Greek youth team championship as well ongoing. Lots of underrated talents from Greece who are vying for Akjet's rating. They're going to try to farm him when they get a bit older, I guess. Yes, Hive Raven, hello, welcome to the chat. This opening was some strange Catalan-Slav hybrid. Just some strange Catalan hybrid, I would say. Like, it has elements of QGA combined with Catalan. It started with d4, d5, and then c4, c6. Yeah, poor Akjet. He's gonna have to eventually escape from Greece in order to have a realistic chance to increase his FIDE rating. Like, it might sound bad, but that's just, at this point, that just has to be accepted as some sort of universal truth, excuse me. Like, it's hard to gain rating when your opponents play like 300 points stronger than their rating indicates. Like, in order to gain rating at that point, you also have to be similarly underrated by 300 points. I don't think the IM tricked Anna-Maja in the opening. I think they were both out of theory around the same move. So, no, this was not a move order trick. This was Anna-Maja picking a sharp continuation and both of them trying to solve their opening issues over the board. Yesterday she got tricked in the move order. Today that was not the case. But yeah, I think she will regret this decision of capturing the pawn on d4. As the game goes on, as the game progresses. But again, don't shoot the messenger, wait for the recap to come out if there will be a recap of this game. It will be very interesting to hear her thoughts. And I'm not sure if you guys are on her Patreon, but she has some really interesting content from behind the scenes there. And she has played the move knight to d7, just as I was trying to promote her Patreon. She's down to 20 minutes on move 10. Yeah, don't question it. Don't question it. It just happens. Do you think white might play e4? I don't think so. I think white is very happy with this diagonal for the bishop from g2. So I guess e4 might come later. But for now, after knight d7, I would expect some move such as a4. Just trying to open up the rook from a1. Yeah, I just expect a4 to be played here. It seems very logical. Very logical indeed. Yeah, exactly, Chris Random 9. You have to be precise. She's down to 20 minutes, not on move 10, but on move 11. It makes a huge difference. To quote somebody who is unqualified for a presidential office. Oops, there, I said it. Yeah, this position, guys, this position is just plain torture to play now. It's like you don't have enough time to play all the moves that you would like. So, like, if you are playing with the black pieces here, you would like to try. Hey, you're wrong, hold your hands up and admit it. You're excused. So if you give black like 2 or 3 moves here, then the eval might stabilize around equal. And let's do a thought experiment. So let's say that white is momentarily paralyzed or has a brain aneurysm and they start making random moves that don't make sense. So let's say that white makes a nonsensical move such as rook to b1. After rook to b1, the eval stabilizes a bit after knight 7 to f6. And let's say that white says, okay, you know what, I was wrong, I'm going to put my rook back on a1. Now the eval has finally stabilized in earnest, and black can fully equalize with the move bishop to d7. So if you give black 2 moves, and white is paralyzed in the meantime, then the position might be equal. However, chess doesn't work like that. Chess is a turn-based game, and usually international masters are good enough at making not completely useless moves with white. So, if you give black 2 more moves after knight to d7, the position is equal. However, until then, the position remains +2. So, that was our little thought experiment. If white doesn't do anything useful, it takes 2 more moves for black to equalize. So that should tell you everything about how difficult it is to really play this position practically. I mean, if you need 2 more moves to equalize, you are in dire straits. And, we might have some fans of Dire Straits in the chat as well. One of my dad's favorite bands, and one of mine as well, I guess, during my teenage years. On the other hand, we are up a pawn. Like, a pawn is a pawn. If we can stabilize this position, if we can make white lose some time and not adopt the best plan, we might catch up a bit in development, and then the pawn might decide. But there's a very fine balance between material and initiative. And here, white's initiative and development advantage is simply too great for the pawn to matter. You're getting a little blister on your finger. Okay, I'm sorry to hear that. Is that related to typing in Twitch chat? Teleport an extra pawn to Anna's b7 square and say it's about equal. Okay, you know what? I will entertain this. This is a fun experiment. I will entertain your request, and if I figure out exactly how to do it in ChessBase, let me do that quickly. I will simply add an extra black pawn on b7 and look at the evaluation. Yes, doing that fixes it. Congratulations. That actually fixed it entirely. That makes the position equal. So if somebody can steal a pawn from someone else and just slap it on Anna's b7 square, that's going to make the position equal. In fact, black might be a tiny bit better there. So that was a fun little thought experiment. Thanks for providing it. Now let's remove the b7 pawn because it's not there. Yeah, fellas, this is looking ugly now. Even knight c6 could be a move. Like knight c6 for white could be a move. Yeah, this is yikes. Yeah, even knight c6 is actually quite strong here for white. Quite strong indeed. Yeah, no, that was a good experiment there. Like, of course, putting a pawn on b7 fixes all of these light square weaknesses on the queen side. And black could look forward to the future. But, with the b7 pawn being pushed to b5 now, this diagonal weakness can be a real issue. So, guys, what do you think? Is he going to play something more traditional, like pawn to a4, or is he going for the full tactical solution with knight c6? Knight c6 is just outright winning tactically. Just hitting the queen, then preparing to take on d5 twice. And again, black doesn't have sufficient time to develop all her pieces. He strikes me as a very cold and precise and calculated player. So somehow a4 seems like a better try. Yeah, so let's say knight c6, queen c5, knight takes d5. What do you play? You cannot take on c6 because I have knight f6 check and the queen drops. So after knight c6, queen c5, knight takes d5, you have to take e takes d5. E takes d5, and now I play what? Let's see. I play bishop to b4. I want to play bishop to b4. And the point is that your queen is battered all across the board, and if you take on c6, I have bishop takes d5. And I'm going to first take on f8 and then take on a8. It's a terrible position for black. You're going to be down in exchange for pretty much zero compensation. Yeah, this is very direct and very tactical. Somehow I still expect him to go for the line with a4. He just strikes me as more of a cool and calculated and positional player. Like maybe knight c6, maybe if you miss something, you could actually allow black some counterplay. If you miss something in the calculation, I mean. So whereas a4, you don't really have to calculate much to determine it gives white a great position. This has the position, guys. The position is objectively very bad for black, but of course we're rooting for Anna-Maja, and black has some hopes. It's not over. It's not over as long as white isn't playing, the absolute best moves. So while the position remains bad, there is still some hope of creating counterplay in the future. But a4 just strikes me as such an obvious Catalan type move that I would be really surprised if white goes for knight c6 instead. Although knight c6 wins more directly. But it's also an element of conserving one's energy in these long tournaments. This is a 10-round. This is a 10-round tournament. And generally, I don't really understand why you'd have 10 rounds, especially if there are less than 250 players, let's say. There are only 118 signups. So 10 rounds feels like a bit of an overkill. But I guess I understand it from the perspective of helping out norm seekers and also from the perspective of equalizing the color distribution. Like in 9-round tournaments, there will always be people who get 4 whites, 5 blacks, whereas in 10-round tournaments, it's highly unlikely that somebody is going to get a 6-4 rather than a 5-5 color distribution. Yeah, it could be for norms and for color equalization. But we have reached this point of the evening where my stomach is making these sort of noises to inform me, hey, Vlad, you might be quite hungry. So I propose that I take a reasonably short-ish break to eat something, and then I'll come back. What do you guys say about that? Hopefully there will be a game to come back to. I don't expect to be gone for more than, let's say 10 minutes. But judging from this game, the way that this game has gone so far, it will be way more than 10 minutes until we get to the final position. So there will be some silence for now. I'll talk to you soon. I'll go eat something. Hello, chat. I'm back. Looks like they have sped up the pace a bit. Lots of things have happened. So first things first, what happened? There was a trade on d5. Then there was this bishop to c3 hitting our queen with tempo. The 2D board currently has some sort of glitch. Yeah, this is Vlad Chess, Mr. Chaos. Hello. The 2D board has a glitch. As you can see on the video feed, the rooks are actually on d1 and f1. On the 2D board, apparently there is the missing rook from d1. But overall, the position has actually gotten better, I would say, for white. For black. So since the last thing we saw, what happened? There was this trade on d5, bishop c3, queen trade, and b4. Wow. b4. This b4 I'm not sure is good. I think it was far more logical, let's say, to play knight f6 and just allow this doubling of the pawns. So instead of b4, I think knight f6, bishop takes f6, gf6, bishop takes d5 offered some prospects of holding on. Well, b4 is shocking. b4 is actually a shocking move. What's her point? Let's explore. Let's explore this line. So b4, let's say bishop takes d5, b takes c3, bishop takes a8, and now c takes b2. Well, that doesn't really work, does it? That doesn't work because white can just capture that pawn on c4 with the knight at the end. So maybe this b4 really weakens the c4 square, especially since d5 is going to fall. Yeah, I guess knight f6 would have been more of a typical move to make. Let's take a look at the clock times. Yeah, I realize I already mentioned that the big board is missing a rook on d1. I can see it. I mentioned it. Yeah, I cannot. I can mention it. I can observe it, but I cannot control it. So it's beyond my powers. I have not gained enough experience points to unlock that spell. Hello, Mr. Venus. Or maybe I should call you Luke. now that I know your name. Now that I know your name, maybe I can. I honestly thought that Venus was from Lithuania for so long. Like I just lived with the wrong impression. So much chess going on. You're absolutely right. The chess Bundesliga is going on. The Llobregat Open. Somebody just hit the tripod or something. What happened there? Bishop to d4 has been played by Mr. Zemach. Bishop to d4. Of course, very logical move. d5 is still hanging. I'm not sure what she's planning here. So let's say rook to b8, bishop takes d5. I'm really not sure how black is planning to hold on to this queenside pawn majority. It doesn't appear possible. Like it actually does not appear to be possible. The engine move was bishop takes d5. Okay, yeah, that seems logical. I mean, okay, bishop d5 was taking a pawn and threatening a free rook. Looks like they might transpose, though. Bishop d4, rook b8, bishop takes d5. It seems like that's some sort of transposition. Of course, the position itself is... Well, yeah, d5 is gone. d5 is gone no matter what you do. That pawn is gone. Yeah, I'm pretty curious how the game will progress. So bishop d4, of course, is on the board, as we can see in the video. Not too many moves for black to consider here. Rook to b8 seems logical enough. Maybe knight f6, but okay, on knight f6, there could be, let's see, let's say knight f6. Knight f6, bishop takes f6, gf6, bishop takes d5 is a winning endgame advantage for white. It's just c4 is going to drop, and white has great piece coordination and will soon be able to invade the position with the rooks. Anna has played rook to b8, okay, but I see that knight c6 is now on the board, and knight c6, rook to b5 has been played. These moves have been played in rather quick succession, mostly because I guess there's some significant issue with the time. Rook to b5, very staunch resilience. Very staunch, like, and resilient way to play. However, there is still this move knight to a7, which threatens to pick up a piece on c8. So we may have to part with some material. Yeah, we may have to part with some material after this knight a7. But you know what? Knight a7, bishop b7, knight takes b5, and a takes b5 actually stabilizes the position, and black is not just losing on the spot any longer. So I'm almost rooting. I'm rooting for this variation to happen. Knight a7, bishop to b7. This is what I want. I think this offers some sort of a fighting chance in the endgame, despite going down the exchange. It's maybe one of the dynamic ways to play the position and to create some issues for white as well. Is she going to play bishop to b7, however? We know she has a disdain for her rooks, not really in love with her rooks. Seems like most of the time those pesky pieces just seem to get in the way. So bishop to b7 would be definitely on brand here. Is she going to stay on brand or not? The board is not accurate. There are missing moves. There are missing moves and there's a missing rook. Looks like the board has something with the rooks. So, yeah, bishop to b7 has got to be on her radar. She's 300% tactics, 400% bad bishop. So, especially like bishop to b7 finally would bring her worst piece to life. Like, you know, she's worked hard to achieve this queenside majority. Bishop to b7 solves the issue of the bishop while dropping the exchange on b5. I think this is still better for white, of course, but black has somehow managed to stabilize the position if she plays like this. So, you know, you can get your hopes up. Don't get them up like too much, but you can get your hopes up compared to, let's say, 2 or 3 moves ago. That would be a realistic evaluation of this position. I wish we could show this sort of win, draw, loss probability. This, I think, would be really fascinating to show. Sadly, I don't seem to have access to such a function. I think I believe only Leela has that function, and it's only supporting certain games. So while I can try to make it work in ChessBase, I don't think it's supported.
But that win, draw, loss probability thing that Leela has for the World Championship match, I'm telling you, that's a game changer. That's really, really nice. She has played bishop to b7. Let's go. Rook b8. Rook b8, knight c6, rook to b5, knight a7, bishop to b7, knight takes b5, a takes b5. This is the current board position. Let's see here. Gonna try something. I'm gonna try something with Mr. Stockfish. As a disclaimer, I always tell you guys when I have the engine on, just so you don't get tricked by me saying, you know, bad stuff versus good stuff. So when I have the engine on, you can count on me to provide accurate analysis, as most of the chatters in Lichess and chess.com could tell you during the World Championship match. So now I have finally attained the same level of wisdom as those users, and can tell you the position is something like +2 still. So white is enjoying a decisive and tremendous advantage, but maybe it's not so clear how to win this from a human perspective. Jovanka called a draw the second the exchange was played. Who needs Leela? You mean the queen exchange on e7 today? Yeah, probably. Yeah, that looked pretty drawish. Rook f to e1 is played by white here. Of course, white is merely preparing the advance with e4. Very typical Catalan player. Very, very like slow, methodical, positional. This is really not feeling like a game in which black has gotten much counterplay yet. Like, it's one of those like typical like Manchester City games. Actually, very bad example because Manchester City has been absolutely atrocious lately. But those typical games, you know, in the Premier League when Manchester City has like 78% possession and 15 shots on the goal, and the opposing team is just kind of, you know, parking the bus. It feels like black has not really gotten enough counterplay in this game. I don't think the opening is at fault at all. In fact, I believe the opening chosen was very good. Maybe this decision of queen takes d4 is the one to criticize. Their manager is Catalan. Ah, you mean Guardiola? Yeah, yeah. That's actually a good point. Didn't think about that. Maybe not a coincidence. So I think she'll be pleased with the way that the opening went up until the moment she went for queen takes d4. Up until then, it looked perfectly fine. Very sound, very nice double-edged position. But after queen takes d4, the position has gone greatly in white's favor. And the time situation is scary. Let me try and zoom in there. I believe it says 9 minutes for black and 34 for white. So I think it's 34 minutes versus 9 minutes now. I could be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. Actually, I should say I'm mostly wrong. About most things in life, I tend to be wrong. So take everything I say with a big grain of salt. Maybe that's not true. Maybe I'm just giving myself a bad name here, but generally wouldn't trust too much of the stuff I say, especially not about chess. But having the engine on really helps. It makes me feel like I understand what's going on, which is of course just not true. What moves have happened ahead of the 2D board? Oh god, so there's a missing rook in the 2D board. There's a missing rook on d1. You have that, yeah? You got that? So, if you imagine there's a missing rook on d1 on the 2D board, the game continued. Bishop d4, rook b8, knight c6, rook b5, knight a7, bishop b7, knight takes b5, a takes b5, rook f to e1. So, again, put the rook on d1 for white and advance the position as follows. I'm going to say it faster now. Bishop d4, rook b8, knight c6, rook b5, knight a7, bishop b7, knight takes b5, a takes b5, rook f to e1. These are all moves that have not been put on the 2D board. There's some sort of DGT error. So Anna-Maja is currently thinking the position is very bad at the moment, objectively. Let's see if there are any ways to complicate the matters here. And she's down to 7 minutes. And this is only move, assuming that the score sheet has 30 moves on one column. That looks like move 20. No, maybe 18. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Something like move 18, I suppose. Cannot tell you for certain. It looks like it has been 19 moves, in fact. 19. This is move 19. And she's down to 7 minutes. Wow, this is crazy. You're sticking with the live board with the eval of -5. That's good. It's good copium. That is very good copium right there. Okay, let me turn off the engine here because it seems to lag. Yeah, it seems to lag a bit. I'm actually going to close chess base entirely. That generally tends to lag the system quite a bit. Telling you, honest 1900 analysis. And as an honest 1900, I can tell you, I don't see how black can save this. Like, it's just so difficult to even suggest a move. The development is poor, we're down in exchange, and our queenside pawns are not going to advance any further. I will stop short of calling this resignable, though. This is not there yet. Chess base is like 2005 checkmate symbol. Do you mean to say that it's forced mate in 2005, or do you mean to say it's a software dating to 2005? Because I got the most recent edition, so that one was released only a month ago, I believe. And I quite like some of the new features. I don't think it's worth paying for. Don't get me wrong, I don't think chess base is worth paying for. But yeah, this is not resignable yet. I'm an early resigner, but this is not resignable yet. Yeah, the tournament website definitely gives some strange moves there. H5, rook h6. I love the creativity. What happened? She went f5. Okay. She went f5 with the idea... I never spent any money on chess base, and I don't plan to. But, you know, I'm a man of certain skill when it comes to utilizing software, and I have put such skill to great use. Ooh, f5 bishop h3. This is torture mode. This is absolute torture mode. He's not letting her breathe. I don't know, guys. I don't know what the idea is, but this is wow. This is basically white is claiming black has 0 moves here. Pretty damn crazy.
Yeah, but actually paying full price for chess base hardly makes sense unless you are, like a chess professional who gets like sponsorships and gets appearance fees and conditions. Otherwise, for somebody who's, let's say, a hobby player, it makes absolutely no sense. But then again, there are hobby players out there who spend hundreds of dollars on chessable courses with video. So if you ask me what is more useful, having like a normal version of chess base, or having some random win with the Shara von Henning gambit as black, I'm going to tell you what, I think chess base is going to stand the test of time more than some of these gimmicky openings. Of course, limitations apply. Exclusions apply. Some courses are actually very good. For example, Anna-Maja has a starting out e4, e5 for black that has been reviewed very positively, and that's her first course for Chessable, and hopefully she'll continue to make many more in the future. Hobby players, no. Hobby players definitely have a problem with spending on Chessable. Like, I will not say any names because that would not be kind of me, but there are people in the Discord community who have spent a lot of money on Chessable courses, and they haven't even started them, much less finished them. So if you ask me, that's like paying for a Spotify subscription when you don't even listen to music. It's pretty much the same. Or paying for Netflix when you only watch one movie a month. That's true. I'm homeless on Wi-Fi. That is true. I mean, it's funny that there is no real competitor on the market against Chessbase yet. Like, it's funny how nobody else has been able to create a similar database program that can handle things the way Chessbase does. And it's a software I use on a daily basis because in my work as a coach, I have to create files and materials and share those. So it really helps me to organize my files if I have Chessbase. It would be far harder to do all of this in Lichess. She has only 2 minutes, Jesus. Chessly, what is Chessly? I don't know what Chessly is. I know what Chessify is, but I don't know what Chessly is. King to f7. Make no mistake, the king is becoming an active piece. I said both Chessbase and Chessable in my short rant here. But king f7 is definitely a move that he's playing on her time too. He's starting to smell the blood in the water, and like a shark, he's making some quick moves as well. Chessly is Gotham Chess's version of Chessable. Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with this platform. But it makes sense he would try not to sell. Chessable takes a big cut from the creators. So if you can sell it on your own independent platform, which, by the way, I was planning to do since my work with openings has been regarded reasonably well in the recent weeks, I have been approached by several people asking if I could, collaborate with them and offer some opening courses on their platform. And generally my reaction is not really. If I were to sell opening courses, I would prefer to sell them independently and have nobody else take a cut from the proceeds. And okay, I guess I don't have enough site traffic for that yet, and I'm about 1 million times less well known than Gotham Chess. But hey, gotta stick to your principles. I would never collaborate with a platform that takes like 40 or 50% off from the sales. It's out of principle. Out of principle, I would never collaborate. The Voice is a weak 1900. Actually, maybe not that weak anymore. It's 1955 FIDE now. But still remain a weak 1900 at heart. That's who I am. That's my identity. Very difficult to change, especially once you reach a certain age. But for the most part, never say never. No, it's just my strong principle is that I would never collaborate with a platform that takes that much of a cut from creators. It's also the reason why I stopped streaming on Twitch. And, well, there are certain ethical concerns with other platforms for streaming, and I don't plan to return to it. So I'm happy to be a guest. I'm happy to commentate for my friends like Anna-Maja or some other streamers. Very happy you can reach out to me. If I like you enough, I'm going to do it for free. Thankfully, I like Anna-Maja enough that I do this for free. So, yeah, basically I'm doing this because I don't have anything better to do on a Saturday evening, as sad as that sounds. But I have a tournament tomorrow, so I'm trying to rest a bit today and not go too crazy. What is my price? I identify myself with a number, absolutely. Absolutely. Week 1900 written on my forehead. No spicy. If you mean for actual chess work, it varies. Like, if you want me to just do like second work, like just do opening analyses and provide you with files, it starts at $35 an hour. If you want private coaching one-on-one, it's $50 an hour. And if you want live commentary and I don't like you well enough to provide it for free, I'm probably going to charge $40 an hour. So, you know, doing opening work is slightly easier, so I charge less. Commentary is a bit more involved, and coaching is actually like, 100% full focus. You have to be present the entire time and cannot even crack too many jokes. People are paying you to teach them chess, not to joke around. But yeah, I mean, there's been a handful. There's been a handful of commentators. There's been a handful of streamers that I've been very much willing to provide free commentary for. And it's just sort of giving back to the community, because I have to recognize that Anna-Maja's community really helped me out at the beginning of my streaming career, if you can call it a career, in 2020. So, yeah, I guess I'm just doing this because I enjoy talking about chess, and especially enjoy talking about chess with people from this community. But of course, if somebody is approaching me that I don't really have a prior relationship with and they want the commentary of a FIDE instructor, normally I would not do it for free, because this is my profession. I am a chess professional, and practically I pay my bills from doing chess-related work, be it coaching or journalism or blogging or whatever you want to call it. So at the end of the day, something and someone is going to have to pay the bills. I think most FIDE instructors with 4 years of full-time experience, or let's say 3.5, FIDE instructors with 3.5 years of full-time coaching experience tend to go for quite a bit more in some, let's say, developed or Western countries. So, what's a FIDE instructor? It's somebody who has gone through a training regimen with top GMs and who has passed an exam to get their training, to get their coaching certificate. So I might have access to training methods that are not so well known to others, and I am devoting a lot of time to becoming better at this. Yeah, teaching chess is so annoying. No early price compensates for the pain. That is so funny. That is so funny because you bring a very interesting point. This started as a hobby for me. So it started as a hobby. I had a normal day job. I was working for a small startup, had a very reasonable fixed income. Everything was predictable. And then I started coaching a bit on the side. And then I realized, hold up, I'm actually enjoying coaching a lot more than working in the corporate environment. You can set your own hours, you can set your own price, you can decide whom to work with. Some pretty good advantages. But then when I started doing it more and more and had more students, at some point had 18 students in 1 week. That was the absolute maximum. I have to tell you guys, at the end of that week, when I had 18 students, I nearly wanted to bang my head on the wall. Like, really. Like, it was hard. I'm not gonna lie, it was hard. Because let's say out of 18 players who took coaching with me that week, maybe 8 of them had a very strong dedication and loyalty to chess. Like, they were doing their assignments and homework and everything. The others, it felt like we were just sort of casually chatting about chess. And don't get me wrong, I enjoy doing it because I'm here with you now and I enjoy talking about chess. But it just felt somehow wrong to like take money from people who are taking coaching but who don't actually have a clear desire to improve. But then again, nobody forced them to pay, so ultimately I guess it's the same with Chessable, right? Chessable sells a lot of courses and people hardly go to the courses and they will happily take the money. Yeah, Homeless on Wi-Fi is a very strong player. How gray is my hair from teaching? It's becoming more and more gray. It is becoming more and more gray, but I still enjoy working with students. Like, I'm very happy at this moment in life when a student has a win in a tournament. It generally makes me even happier than if I was to win a tournament game. So like the amount of enjoyment from playing chess has diminished a bit since starting coaching. And I'm very, very invested in just, rooting for my students and following their results and hoping their opponents fall into the opening prep that we have and stuff like that. So it's very fun. Whereas when I play, there are certain games that I win, I don't even feel any happiness after I win. It's like, it feels empty. It's like, okay, I won a game, but the game was full of mistakes, full of blunders on both sides. And it was like somebody was rolling the dice and, well, this time it went in my favor. So, yeah, it's not always the same. It's a different type of enjoyment, I guess. The enjoyment from winning a game yourself versus the enjoyment that you feel when a student wins a game. But yeah, I mean, again, Anna-Maja and I I was helping out with some opening prep, and I'm very, very happy to be part of this community. What happened after 20 bishop h3? Norder Tau. Let's see. So f5, bishop h3, king f7, bishop takes f5, knight f6, and now finally pawn to e4. Do I ever feel good after a loss? Yes, I do feel good after a loss if it's against a very strong player and I feel like I did my best. Like if I play against a very strong, let's say titled player, and I fought hard and ultimately went down fighting, I feel satisfied. I feel satisfied with my performance because, I tried my best. Even if the result wasn't the one that I wanted, I tried my best and I can be satisfied with that. So yeah, there are certain losses after which I felt way happier than after a win. Like, let me give an example. I'm 1900, yeah? Do you think I feel happier beating a 1400 or having a hard-fought match with a 2300, which ultimately results in a loss? And, it should be some sort of a rhetorical question, the way that I'm phrasing it. No doubt in my mind that beating a 1400 creates zero joy. It's like, okay, there's no surprise here. This was expected. There's no enjoyment in it. I'm not learning anything. Whereas when you have a hard-fought match with somebody higher rated, even if you lose, hey, there could be a learning opportunity in it. People are not just numbers. In chess, sadly, they are. Sadly, you get evaluated entirely. It's like net worth for Hollywood actors, yeah? So Hollywood actors are generally ranked on net worth and important roles and all that. Sometimes based on awards as well. In chess, you are worth as much as your ELO, usually. Like, there are some exceptions. Like, when you have somebody who is a content creator and who doesn't really play tournaments and has fully focused on content creation. That is true. Their elo will not matter as much. But in professional chess circles, the amount of respect that you get is going to be based on your elo rating ultimately. As wrong as it is, you can't really do much about it. That's just how it works. I remember when I was a 1700, I thought of myself as a much better player, but ultimately, the FIDE profile said 1700, so I was a 1700. Nobody would pay attention to a 1700 talking about chess. It's just the way it is. I was upset, of course, because I thought, hey, I can show to you that I'm better than 1700. Please listen to me. I have interesting things to say. Nope, did not work like that. And here I am. I made 2000 last year. Now I'm back to 1900, hoping to make 2000 again. But people trust you more when you have a higher elo. It's just the way it works. So I'm as upset as you are about it, but that's just the way it works. G6 has been played, so not as exciting as G5, but still, attacking the bishop. What's happening here? Who's better? Well, white has to be winning. White has to be winning. They're up in exchange. But what happens here? I guess eventually white is going to open up the e-file and then invade with the rooks. So there's past the point of no return. I'm not upset. If I sound upset, I'm definitely not upset. I'm just telling the way that it is in the chess world. So the earlier conversation started from someone asking whether I feel happy after a loss. Yeah, there are certain losses which are very rewarding in a player's development. You can even pinpoint them. In your experience, 2,000 to 2,200 players are better coaches than 2,400 players. Oh, I agree. I have worked. I had a few coaches in the past. So I worked across the years. I have worked with one FIDE master, 2 international masters, and 1 grand master. And again, I will not give names because, that wouldn't be kind of me and there's no point. I will tell you from my own experience that the FIDE master and then the first international master were far better instructors, at least explaining to my level, than a 2600 level GM or a 2500 rated IM. Well, I've been playing chess for 16 years. I've been playing chess for 16 years, and during those 16 years, I collaborated with coaches for a short amount of time. I generally like short-term collaborations with my coaches because it feels like it maximizes the time efficiency. You learn more in a short collaboration than in a long collaboration. There's a faster transfer of information. And during those 4 collaborations with 4 different coaches of varying strengths, I would say definitely the lower rated coaches were able to explain, to my understanding, way better what I'm supposed to do. Okay, guys, this game is close to being over. Bishop takes f6, king takes f6. Now this bishop will retreat somewhere, or actually no, it goes forward. This is resignable. This position is now resignable. We have reached the point where things are falling down and there's hardly any way to hold on to any of these extra pawns. So I expect this game not to make it to the time control. Okay, we take on b5 now. We have to take on b5. Okay, and he does. He's starting to play a bit on her time. Like he's confident enough that the position is winning, and he's maybe not really calculating much. Rook to d8. Rook to d8 could be a threat. Yeah, this is looking... Oh, of course, bishop takes c4 is also a threat, as you can see on the live video. c3 comes.
Okay, so he adjusts the pawn on c3, but doesn't take it. So maybe this one lone pawn on c3 offers a bit of counterplay. Just a tiny bit. You coached a top 20 player a long time ago. You're doing the shopping, vacuuming, and washing the dishes. That is hilarious. I don't know if there's a delay. Is there a delay? Oh, actually, that's a very good question. Is there a delay? There's no delay. Okay, great. I hate the delay. I mean, I understand it's useful for anti-cheating, but logistically, it's a nightmare. It's just a nightmare. Okay, let's take a look. What's happening in the position still? So c3. c3. What do you do here? Kind of imagine you'd have to take there. But maybe it's not necessary. So let's say I take and I go rook to d. Wait, hold up. B takes c3, b takes c3, rook d8. There might be some issues with the advance of this c pawn. I don't really believe there could be an issue though. Like the bishop, you're still pinned. You trained Vincent Keimer once. Wow, it's amazing. Rook d7 looks unpleasant. There are many moves which look rather unpleasant here. Maybe rook to d7 first is a good way to continue. She only has 1 minute and 54 seconds. Yeah, I think take and rook d8 is simplest. Let's say take, rook d8, pawn to c2, and you're not even in time to play bishop a3 ideas, because I'm always going to take on h8 and then you queen, and yeah, basically you haven't done anything. You've only lost a pawn. No, the position isn't really wild, Matthew. The position is rather clear here. I think just take and rook d8 is the simplest. Take, rook d8, and you put the rook on b8 to destabilize the bishop, and then you come behind you go rook c8 to go behind the pawn. This should be straightforward enough for this international master. He is 2400 after all, and considered a decent endgame player, if I remember. Well, this is a technical endgame. Normally you expect people to blunder when the position is tactical, but this position leans more towards technical. So somebody who plays the Catalan will generally enjoy such positions where they have a lot of control. But yeah, he's just going to take on c3 and go rook to d8. I would be very, very surprised. I'd be very surprised if he doesn't take and go rook to d8 here. Like, really surprised. Shocked. I would be shocked even. Because it's the most natural way to continue. You pin. That's nice copium, Bucksline. Very nice. Very nice copium. Yeah, the position is sadly a bit too straightforward for blunders at this stage.
But there are good things. There are good things to be taken away from this game. The opening choice in particular was really nice, really sharp. This idea of playing b5 and then allowing white to take on c6 and go queen b6 was excellent. She will, of course, blame the queen takes d4 move as the root cause of all her problems in this game. But hey, I mean, that's how you learn. That's how you learn. You make some mistake immediately after the opening, you get a bad position. It's the sort of experience that will remain with you for some time, and she might be able to refine her repertoire and employ a similar looking variation in the future. Yeah, exactly. Blue Boy has got it right. This is a long tournament. It's 10 rounds. This is just round 2. She already started well with a draw against another international master, and there's a lot to look forward to for the upcoming rounds. Again, ultimately it's just a game. Chess and learn. Yes, exactly. Okay, so since the FIDE ratings are out, let's take a look at the top players. Arjun Erigaisi is now 2801 officially as a posted rating. Wow. So Carlsen is at 2831, Caruana 2805, Nakamura 2802, and Arjun 2801. Gukesh, the challenger, follows at 2783. Then we have Abdusatorov, Alireza, Nepo, Wei, Vishy Anand. Wow, that's a lot of players at the top. And if you want to see where Ding Liren is, he's at 2728, position 22 in the world. Now that's shocking. That is real. I mean, it's really, really shocking that the world champion has dropped this much rating in the past few years. And okay, maybe it would be interesting to take a look at the top women players as well, because there has been some interesting stuff happening there at the top. So let's see. Hold up. Let's just look at the players from 20. And Susan Polgar. These are players who still have a rating, but by active players only. So Yifan, Wenjun, Tan, Lei, 4 Chinese players at the top. Wow, that's crazy. Then we have Goryachkina with a bounce back Women's Grand Prix. When was the last time we had 4 2800 plus players? Good question. I would imagine sometime in like April 2014. I just said it randomly, by the way. So I'll say April 2014. You guys can fact check me. This is just, it's not a fact. It's just a prediction. I predict April 2014 was the last time it happened, but somebody should definitely fact check. I see the Muzichuk sisters are actually not both above 20. Wow. This is first time I'm seeing the Muzichuk sisters not being above 2500, both of them, in a long time. Or maybe I simply haven't been keeping up with them too much. So Anna Muzichuk has 2515, and her sister Maria has 2490. Huh. Divya is at 2490 herself, and Bibisara is at 2492. That's going to be a very fun matchup to watch for years to come. I think Bibisara and Divya are definitely going to be 2 of the names to watch for like the next 10-15 years in the world of chess.
Anna has a sister. Anna Muzichuk has a sister named Maria. She's a former women's world champion. January 2019. See, I was completely wrong. Mamedjarov was above 2800. I had forgotten this fact. Yes, Mamedjarov was briefly above 2800. Crazy. Crazy to be at that rating with his playing style. Because, he's a very volatile player. Goes for crazy positions always. So some moves have come through. So bc3, rook to d7, bishop c8, rook to c7. Yeah, hello Beta Wolfie. Hello. I think this is resignable. I really think this in this position. So then we had rook takes e4. Wait, what happened? I'm missing some moves. I'm missing some moves there, guys. I don't know. I'm sure I missed some move, but I don't know which move I missed, if that makes sense. I was too busy looking at the rating list. Probably makes sense to throw a check on c6. Anna is not one to give up. Yeah, I don't know. This position remains very hard to play. So he gives a check on c6. As expected, she's down to seconds. She's down to seconds. She's gone under 30 seconds. Thank you, Blue Boy, for the move list there. Although formatted a bit weirdly, it's good. We can tell. Thanks so much for doing that. Okay, so now what do we have? We have rook c6, king g7. This rook to a4. Oh, rook to a4 just wins, yeah? Mamedjarov was never solid enough to emit pretensions at the candidates, with the sole exception of the candidates tournament back in 2011, I believe. That was in Kazan, in Russia. In that one, he was paired against Boris Gelfand, ultimately the person who won that candidates tournament, which was in a knockout format. And in that Kazan 2011 candidates, if I'm not mistaken, there is a game, Mamedjarov against Gelfand, where Gelfand gets like 5 pawns for the rook. It's an incredible endgame, and I suggest you check it out at your leisure, because this endgame between Gelfand and Mamedjarov, where Boris gets 5 pawns for the rook, is absolutely fascinating. One of my favorite games of chess ever. And if you like the Sicilian Najdorf, if you like counter-attacking games, just look up Mamedjarov against Gelfand from the candidates, and you will absolutely love this Najdorf. Yeah, the rook a4, and we go home, as they say. There's no way he's possibly missing this. Rook a4, bishop d7, rook takes a5. Bishop takes c6, bishop takes c6, and then I go behind the pawn and corral it while I'm still up a bishop. The Russian chess lore is always interesting. Yeah, okay. Oops, he manages to put the piece on the correct square second time around. Gelfand used to be a beast. Hello, Mr. Juho, joining us from Finland. Okay, can I be cute here? Can I be cute and just take on... Can I just take on c8? Okay, I want to take on c8. Rook takes c8. No, that's bad. Hold up, that's bad, because I'm not in time. I'm not in time to catch your c-pawn. I'm actually not in time. There's some care. Some care is needed still. Rook takes a5. Wait, hold up. Rook takes a5, rook to d1, check, bishop f1, and I win, yeah? Oh, you just take. Yeah, that's a Najdorf. That is a Najdorf that I mentioned. It's a beautiful game by Gelfand. Really excellent. Really shows his peak powers. No, just take on a5. Yeah. I'm cute regardless of whether I take or not. Thank you. Thank you for this wonderful compliment. How are your bunnies doing? How are the little rabbits? Those are way cuter than I could ever hope to be. Oh, wow. Wow. Okay then. Okay. I see you, Mr. Zemach, who's starting to think now that there's a mate threat. There's an impending mate threat. Can we give some check here or what? Oh man, this is... I have an idea. Rook a7 check, king somewhere, and now... No, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. My idea sucks. It doesn't work. I had an idea, but it sucks. Now let's just give a check. Just give a check on c7, and then... How do you deal with this? Live board wrong. Yes. Rook a5, bishop h3 has been played. It's not wrong, it's delayed, as Rico says. Okay, come on, this has to... It has to be winning still for white, but they have to be precise. Maybe f3. Does f3 work? f3 should work. Just give a check on a7 first, and then go f3 or f4. Yeah, now the live board has finally caught up to the action. Rook c7 and bishop to d7. Wow. That is... Oh, bishop to a4. Bishop a4 is very, very elegant. Bishop a4 is beautiful. I miss bishop a4. Nicely done. Nicely done, chat. So I might just throw a check first on a7, excuse me, and then go bishop to a4. Rook a7 and bishop to a4 seems like it stops all the threats. Where is the rook? The rookie? Why are you asking such questions? I think bishop to a4 is better because it's on a protected square and cannot be attacked, so... Yeah, I expect rook a7, bishop, and then bishop a4. Very, very nice. Very nice, chat. You outdid yourselves this time. Still calculating, which is funny. Considering his upper rook, the fact he's still calculating here is unusual, I would say. But then again, black has a checkmate threat. Bishop to a4 played. Okay, yeah, that's... No, I think she's considering resignation here. I think she is definitely considering to resign in this position now. problem is the pawn on c3 is now doomed. Doomed for fate. That's not so kind. He didn't blunder mate. Yeah. Yeah, you don't want to be too casual and your upper rook can get checkmated. But still. Doesn't feel like you should calculate more than just, avoiding checkmate. It's not like you have to calculate the best line. It's just that you have to find some sequence of moves that doesn't get you mated and retains the material advantage. It would be really funny had he played something like, I don't know, bishop f1. This sort of bullet blunders that could happen to anybody. And she's down to mere seconds. She played a move with 3 seconds, if I'm not mistaken. Okay. She's still fighting on. I suppose we will see. What shall we see here? What will we see? Rook to b5. Yeah, just rook to b5. Rook to b5, rook a8, bishop to... No, I want to block the file. Rook to b5, rook a8, bishop to b3. Game over. Very, very logical. Rook to d5? Why rook to d5? Why are you not happy with rook to b5? Just blocking all the files. Now there's no entry spot. Yeah, exactly. We have bishop to b3 consolidating, and then we can even take on c3 if we want to. It's admirable. It's very admirable that she's still trying. So this is very nice. Okay, and she resigns here. Okay. This was an interesting game. Lots of things to unpack. I'm sure Anna-Maja will take a look at her game with a critical eye. Good choice of opening. A mistake in the early middle game. Ultimately, the opponent, we have to give credit to her opponent, Zemach Nadav. Is very, very positional player. He played I would say he converted the advantage excellently. So really a good positional game by him. I think there's nothing to be upset about here. It was a good game of chess overall. So I'm going to leave you in the hands of the streamer. I don't want to, after a loss, I tend not to bother people. So let's wish her best of luck in the upcoming rounds. And as always, it was a pleasure to be here with you tonight and provide a bit of live commentary, as low level as it was. So cheers, guys, and enjoy the rest of your weekend.